Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone, and welcome back to another ASI Q&A session with Shaykh Akram Nadwi on every Thursday, 6 p.m. BST. Without further ado, whilst the questions come in the chat box, we'll begin with some private questions. Shaykh, the first question we have is, are any of the hadith about the virtues of Hifdh of Quran Sahih?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I don't actually know because the hadith that we know, they are weak, some are munkar and fabricated. And this is one thing. Second thing is, hifz does not mean what we think it means. In our culture, hifz means to memorize the Quran. Even if you don't understand the meaning, you don't act upon just memorizing. So that is not the meaning of the hifz in Arabic language. In Arabic language, hifz means to understand something and properly, and have deeper meaning. Thereby, for example, they say Hafizul Hadith. Hafizul Hadith is someone who's expert of the Hadith. To Hafiz Quran will be somebody who's expert of the Quran, understand the meaning. Just memorizing and without understanding, that Hifz did not exist in those days. So this is one thing. But Quran has its own virtue. You don't need any Hadith for that. The Quran actually, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps saying that, how important this book is, how important the message is. So anybody who's busy with the Quran, certainly, it is so much reward. And there are hadith about those who spend their time in the Quran. There are hadith that if somebody, busy with the Quran and does not make dua, he will get all that the other people ask Allah, he get all those things accepted. So, understanding the Quran, spending time with the Quran, it's all rewardable, so much reward. If people say Subhanallah once, it fills all the space between the heaven and the earth. And Quran is much more than Subhanallah. It's rewarded much more than that. If people understand and think, certainly they'll be elevated. And it's guidance. Then it actually leads you to many, many good deeds and makes your iman stronger. So rewards will be multiplied by many times. But not only memorizing, by lips and it actually understanding it, acting upon it.
Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. The next anonymous question is, Allah and His Messenger talk about Hoor al-Ayn for the men a lot. What about the women? Do women get male Hoor also?
Thing is, in the culture where the Quran has been revealed, many of the things they are not people find good to mention about the women. So Quranic way is to just indicate in a way so people understand the meaning. The Quran says in paradise people will get whatever they desire and whatever makes them happy. And the Hadith also said that in paradise people will get what no eye has seen and nobody else could think really about that. So Hadith says, Quran says, that everybody will be made happy in the paradise. In this world, people don't like when it mention any woman has got more than one man husband or something like that. So how can Quran mention something like that? But certainly, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord of the men and women both. He will make, and the men and women both will be his guests in the paradise. So whatever they desire, they will get. This word is not desire, word of desire, but hereafter for the desire. So this is enough to say that people get whatever they desire. Whatever makes a woman happy in paradise, she will get that.
Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. We'll move to the questions in the question box now. The first question is, besides dua, should I be protesting for Palestine? I feel I'm not doing enough.
Dua, maybe you give some sadaqah and charity, but you can do enough actually for people around you. So teach some people Quran, do da'wah, meet non-Muslims, organize some events where people come together. That's the most important thing really. It is not only enough, it is your duty not only Palestine, your duty primarily the people who you live with, your neighbors. You have to guide them, you have to save them from hellfire. Imagine if there is a prophet, first thing he will think about his own neighbors. When the Prophet was in Makkah al-Mukarramah, there are so many problems in the world, in Syria, in Iraq, in Persia, in India, so many things, very bad really. But he didn't travel anywhere to go and help people there. He just focused on his own people. And then after that, the message spread all over the world. All prophets, they focus on their own people. So your people are the people who you live with, and your neighbors, and people like Christians and Jews and other people living around you. You need to convey the message to them and teach them the Quran. That's the first thing you need to do. Everybody, we all have duty to teach people about the message of Allah and make effort to save them from hellfire.
Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. The next question is, a person is doing the same sin repeatedly. Besides that, he does tawbah every time, but is now feeling stuck in this situation and helpless. What should he do?
People can be tired of repenting, but Allah does not become tired of forgiving. So the first thing is not to commit sin. But once you have committed, then don't sit. You have to keep asking Allah to forgive. It never happens that you ask Him to forgive, He does not forgive you. And ask Him to help you so you don't do the same sin again. And there could be many ways which to stop you from the sin. Either good company of the people, reading the Quran, ibadah, sometimes another. Sometimes say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I commit this again, I'm going to give 10 pounds to a poor person. So maybe that stops you from sinning. So things like that, you have to be stronger. Don't give to the sin. Don't surrender to the sin. Everybody has to be stronger. And there's no sin which cannot be cured. Every sin can be cured. So it's not good really that you say it to the people in public what sin you're doing. But you can ask an alim in private. Maybe they can help you how to get rid of the problem. Somebody can help you. Maybe somebody locally who's experienced, or maybe you have some friends. Somebody. You have to ask people to help you if you cannot do yourself. But don't give up. And whenever you have committed the sin, don't sit unless you repent.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykh. The next question is by Fatiha, who asks, Salam ya Shaykh, in Surah al-Qasas, verse 54, what are the two rewards, or in other translation, double rewards, given to those who said we believed and already submitted before, probably Ahlul Kitab, and do we get the same rewards like them just by believing in Al-Quran? The verse is, أُولَٰئِكَ يُؤْتُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ مَرَّتَيْنِ بِمَا صَبَرُوا وَيَدْرَؤُونَ بِحَسَنَةِ السَّيِّئَاتِ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ.
The double reward actually is for everybody who has more patience, more sabr. And the Quran said, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Those who are patient, their rewards will be given fully. And nobody can reckon, nobody can count it, uncountable. So more important thing is this, that, whenever anything happens, obey Allah, surrender to Him. Difficulties come, problems come in your personal life, in your teachings, when you're preaching, be patient. So Allah will, give you reward double, again, not only double, multiplied by many, many times. But sabr itself has a big, big reward. The first thing you're teaching, that one reward. You do sabr, you got second reward. But actually, if you do sabr more and more, you get more reward. Or if you want more reward, then do sabr and thank Allah that He helped you to do sabr. And when people say Alhamdulillah after any good deed, then the rewards are multiplied by many times. Ibrahim AS rahimahullah used to say, nothing multiplies the good deeds more than Alhamdulillah, thank you. You see, sabr multiplies once, then you thank Allah on the sabr to multiply again and again. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rewards His treasure. He says, be and she's there. And nothing can decrease Allah's treasure. You have to ask Him again and again. Sometimes you have a small good deed, and Allah makes it, grows it, becomes bigger, like a mountain of Uhud.
Jazakallahu khairan, Shaykh. The next question is by Mahreen, who asks, are women allowed to put their pictures on social media whilst in full hijab?
Thing is, sometimes there's a need for these things, so people could do sometimes. But thing really is, social media are in the hand of all the useless people. We even have to understand to protect them. That this world is full of the corrupt people. So even when you walk in the street, for anything. There are people who have wrong desires. We can't stop women from going out because of the wrong desire. But something's not needed. They should be, because people could have bad intention. They sometimes like to find out your details and do something wrong with you. There are some ladies who told me that from social media, people actually offended them and harmed them, and those harm which actually now never can be recorrected. In your life, you have to think what your interest is. If there's no need for to put your picture on social media, it itself is very bad thing. To have desire to be known, that is disease. People should not have this desire. So best people are actually who want to live a private life. Nobody knows them, and just do their own thing. Just making effort to have so many friends. That itself is a bad thing. Because do you have time for that? Teachers, they're different because people know them. But otherwise, they don't do this thing. Actually, it's very, very dangerous. Very, very. It actually, even if nobody harms you, it's still harmful in the eye of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The desire that you come in the eye of the people, that itself is a bad desire. Now people go for Haraman Sharifan, they do Umrah, and they keep posting their pictures everywhere. It's all bad. If there's no reward in this thing, it's more harmful. So be careful. Only make effort that Allah knows you and nobody else knows you.
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. The next question is by Muhammad Shariq Khan, who asks, Sheikh, when will you next come to Darul Uloom Nadwat al-Ulama?
I was supposed to go there actually this Ramadan, before Ramadan, because there was a meeting of trustees, Shura. So, but I couldn't go. I was teaching. But next year, after Ramadan, I think they're going to make a meeting after Ramadan. So I said, okay, then I'll come if it's after Ramadan, because before that my classes. But in between, if there's something happens and need happen, maybe I can go. I don't think I have intention, but could happen. But more likely, I'll come, inshallah, after Ramadan.
Inshallah. The next question is by Fariha, who asks, why is there no barakah in our rizq, which our ancestors used to have? Like, I've heard many stories about barakah in rizq, health, wealth, children, etc. Why is it decreasing in our era?
Because we actually have so much greed, not thanking Allah, not being content. So there's no barakah. So eating more is not a barakah really. Eating more is a lack of barakah. That ruins your health and so many problems. Then you have to spend more money on your health and this and that. So it is if people follow the way of Allah, so people think if we eat good food, that will be barakah. But no, sometimes your stomach cannot digest every food. So you have to be very, very careful. So people should eat less. Sometimes eat actually the food that's not so much tasty, like sometimes salads or sometimes fruits. Sometimes miss some meals. Do fasting. These have more barakah. Eating if people think eating has more barakah, they are wrong really. It doesn't have much barakah. And thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, starting everything with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fearing Him, all these brings barakah. Why people don't fear Allah, they commit sin, they don't say Bismillah, they don't start in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they don't thank Him, and they commit a haram or sin, then there will be no barakah.
Ahsanallah ilayka, Sheikh. The next question I have is by Sufyan, who says, Sheikh, I committed Mutah with a woman. Is it considered zina? If my ijtihad says it's permitted, am I sinful? I need help.
Thing really is, there's no ijtihad in this matter. Can't do ijtihad against the Quran. The ulama have said very clearly, ijtihad is only when there's nothing in the Quran. Quran says that قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, those believers are successful, and the Quran said among them, those who protect their private part, means they don't involve the desire إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُم, except their wives. The wives are those who people marry to make a family, witnesses, mahar, and permanent, not for a few days, the wives. So that everybody knows what wife means. So if you make a woman wife, meaning is that you're going to live together, everybody knows, you're going to have children, that Alma Malakat Imanhum, our slaves, but that's not at our time. The only thing left is wives. And then Quran says, فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. And those who seek anything other than the marriage, then they are the ones who exceed the limit. And that is zina. And that's why next surah comes after Surah Al-Mu'minun, Surah Al-Nur, which explains everything clearly. So if you have done this mistake and you thought to do your ijtihad, Allah forgives and ask Allah to forgive you and don't do it again, because there's no doubt really it is zina. There are many companions, they said that if we know about anybody who does mutah, we will punish him same thing as we punish for those who do adultery, zina. And people, Shia people say it is mutah is in their religion, but ask any Shia, has any of their Imam, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Hassan, Hussein, Ali ibn Abidin, Muhammad al-Baqir, Ja'far al-Sadiq, Musa al-Kazim, the 12 Imams, has any of them done mutah? No, they never did mutah. And I was reading one of the book written by Shia Ali. He says, all these Shia ulama, they do mutah. But if you go to a Shia alim and ask him, I want to do mutah with your daughter or sister, he will kill you. So they don't allow their own daughters and sisters to be getting married in mutah, but they do all the time. It is really sinful act. There's no difference between zina and mutah, nothing at all really. So be careful and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obey him and be pious. And there's so many ways women to get married and take responsibility. Because mutah basically means you run away from responsibility. Just do zina, just desire. Mutah is to fulfill desire. While in Islam there's no desire without function or responsibility. So you have to make function is to make family. Our responsibility is to provide accommodation and expenses to the wife. If you do these two, then you are married. The first thing is you want to make family. Second thing is you provide accommodation and expenses. Other than that, really, you never do. There's no difference between zina and mutah.
Ahsanallah ilayka, Shaykh. The next question is by Muhammad, who asks, is riba the same as interest? Can you receive interest in the bank even if it's at the same level as inflation?
Nothing really is, I don't think it will happen really, because the banks are not just made for the inflation purpose. They want to make profit. So I don't think it will happen like that. But if it is, it could be allowed, but generally not like that. So I don't allow you to take any interest, on your money in the bank. Because what riba is in the Quran is lending money and having profit on that. So that Quran does not like. Why? Because when people have more money, they should give to the poor people on qard without interest. So then they can get some help. But if people have bank, then they give money to the banks, even if they don't, get interest. Still, the rights of the poor people are deprived. So I advise you, don't take any interest. And if somehow you take it, give it to the poor people without making intention of any reward.
Jazakallahu khairan, Shaykh. The next question is by Shadman, who asks, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. What are your thoughts on Jamal ad-Din al-Qasimi's Mahasin al-Ta'wil? I have benefited from this tafseer the most.
Yeah, so I actually didn't read his book, but Jamal ad-Din al-Qasimi is a great scholar, very good muhaddith, an expert and a very pious person. He's one of the great man in Islam in the last century. So certainly it will be beneficial. I didn't read for everybody. In Tafseer, generally I read people like Maulana Farahi, among the contemporaries, Maulana Min Hassan Islahi, Maulana Maududi, Sayyid Qutb, and people like that. In the past, I read Tabari, Imam Razi, Kashaf, Zamakshari, sometimes Qurtubi. So these are the things that I read in Tafsir more. But it does not mean that what I don't read is not important. It could be important, it could be helpful for some people. So there's no, if you're benefiting, that's fine, then read it.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykh. The next question is, in India, elections are very intense. Every party is offering money. Should I take it? I'll vote against oppression, not for money, but can I accept money from every party?
That's a very good question. I think really, first thing really, I don't like bribery, but all the Indian, people, they are, these corrupt people. Not same India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Once they get, elected, they never going to ask who you are, what you do. They are doing all this for their own benefit. So if they can give you some money, I think that's a good idea because at least you get something. Because after election, you're not going to get anything anyway. If they can give you something before election, that's good for you.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. The next question is, Salam, is it true that the first wife of Ibrahim, Sara, requested Hajar to be apart from her? What is the wisdom? Is this the reason she had a child very late, as if it was a punishment for her?
No, no, don't go to these things really. And Jews have filled all these things in their books, jealousy and hatred and this and that. Some of the influence happened in the Islamic Ribayat as well. But they are much more pious. Sara and Hajar both are free women. So Jews have made all this. Hajar was slave girl and this and that. No, I think Ibrahim al-Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him to keep one wife in Syria, in Canaan, and second wife in new place because Allah wanted to raise two ummah from him. So that was the command. Was there nothing to do with jealousy and hatred? People have made. Quran does not make anything like that. Quran actually praise of wife of Ibrahim, Sara. She's so good, so pious. We don't have people something like that happen in any good family. How can we think about Sara and Hajar, who are chosen people and they are amazing in patient sabr? So don't doubt their character because of some reports. Most of them are Jewish reports, any Israeliyat.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. The next question is, Salam, my elderly parents are having a hard time staying awake for Isha since it's after 9 p.m. How long do they have to wait after Maghrib to pray it? What is the opinion of different schools?
No, if they find difficulty, then you ask them to pray as quickly, before they go to bed. So if the Maghrib is these days around 8:45 or something like that in Oxford or London, so they can pray half an hour, 1 hour, whatever time, after that. But just ask them to make some space. If they can't do, then they pray with that. Some people allow that anyway. So, but yeah, make it easier for them. So before they go to bed, ask them to pray. Isha.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. The next question is by Masoom al-Rahman, who asks, Salam, I attended your tafseer of Surah Yusuf. Sheikh, you explained cutting the hands as a figurative speech that the women's tricks failed. How do you explain the word Sikkeen as in the knife?
No, but Sikkeen, I explained, so many times I remember that Sikkeen means, does not mean knife. Sikkeen means when these women came, then Zulaykha, the wife of Aziz, she offered them to sit on the sofa, and she offered them good drink. The Sikkeen is drink. It soft drink. It could be actually wine. Quran does not want to make, because she wanted to make them excited, so then they can experiment over Yusuf to seduce him. So when they become drunk, then after that they wanted to seduce him, exposing their bodies or maybe becoming naked, whatever. The Quran does not want to mention all those dirty things. The Quran just says one thing, that they cut off their hands, meaning that they use all the tricks possible. So Sikkeen does not mean cutting a knife. Sikkeen means from sukoon, so anything that can bring sukoon, meaning those drinks which are, people feel, peace and nice to drink after they coming from their house, they in the heat, or the first they wanted to relax, drink, then after that they wanted to do their job.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. Whilst we wait for any more questions in the chat box, there's another private question. Sheikh, in your opinion, should we consider the Mursal reports as Sahih?
Thing is, Sahih, what Bukhari, Muslim have made the condition there with the Imam. But Mursal could be accepted sometime with certain condition. If Mursal does not go against anything the Quran has Sunnah very clearly, and Mursal is by the people who we know really, they narrate hadith only from the Prophet, but sometimes they miss the chain. people like Sa'd Musayyab, people like Ibrahim al-Nakha'i, these great people, who are very, very careful about the hadith. Yeah, but people who actually are half expert and they must be knowing their Mursal is a problem, like Zuhri. Zuhri is a great man, but if Zuhri narrates Mursal, it problem. Because why he does Mursal? He knows it anyway. And between Zuhri and between the Prophet Sallallahu sometimes could be one, sometimes could be two, three people. So people have to be careful about Zuhri Marasi. Similarly, Hassan Basri, he narrates it. You have to be careful. So you have to see really who are the one who doing Irsal. So we can't accept all Mursal, but we will accept some Mursal, inshallah.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. We've got another question by Shadman who asks, why was tadlis not taken seriously until Shu'ba ibn al-Hajjaj?
Similar, not only Shu'ba ibn Hajjaj, meaning basically is in the beginning, people did not lie in hadith, they did not do all these things. So people are relaxed. When the people started, lying or deceiving or cheating, then people have more and more conditions. The Shu'ba is the one who became more strict, but even before Shu'ba, like, even if it's Zuhri, when he came to Syria, so everybody in Syria said, Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Zuhri said, no, what is your chain of narration? Bring the chain. Zuhri the one who insisted that the people must have chain of narration. Without that, we are not going to accept. Muhammad al-Sirin said that there must be isnad. You can't just narrate like that. People have to be careful. Shu'ba became more in tadlis, but generally, people from earlier, even in Abbas, he said in the beginning, anybody used to come and say, the Prophet said, we used to love it, but now we are careful. So when people started lying or deceiving or cheating, then they become more and more tough until Imam Bukhari and Muslim come and these people sit down, not sit down, so they already sit down, but they actually write books on those conditions. Then those conditions become more and more established.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. The final question we'll take for today is by Fatiha. In a follow-up to her question, she's asking, could you please explain why the scholar you mentioned says that Shukr is the most noble? Why not Sabr?
No, because Sabr actually is very important. So actually, people don't understand. Shukr and Sabr both are connected. The Quran said, "Kullu sabbarin shakur." Quran says, "Sabbarin shakur." More than once. So Sabr comes, then Shukr comes. So without Shukr, Sabr, there is no Shukr. Why Shukr is important? Because Shukr leads you to Iman and to the Amal. So that's important. When people thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they become humble and they know all the favors from Him. So then they believe in Him. They don't want to make Him upset. They want to please Him. They want to worship. So Shukr is the beginning of Iman. That's very important, really. But Shukr, you can say, it is the foundation for the Taqwa. Taqwa becomes stronger by the Sabr. And Taqwa is also helpful for the Iman. It's all connected, different aspects. And the Quran says, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If people thank, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase His favor upon them. So that's very clear. For Sabr also, He says, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. So when you pray, you are doing Sabr anyway. And after the prayer, you say, Alhamdulillah. Now the rewards of prayer become multiplied by many, many times. So every Shukr has Sabr before that. Without that, there never can be Shukr. And people's actions that will need Sabr. So look at those verses where Quran says Sabbari Shakur. You will see really that how Sabr and Shukr are connected.
Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh. That's all for today, unfortunately. I could see that we've answered most questions, so that's great. Jazakallahu khairan, Sheikh, for your time, and Jazakallahu khairan, everyone, for watching. And inshallah, we'll be back next week at Thursday, 6 p.m. BST, as always. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.